Welcome back to For the Republic. We have another episode. I just want to make another announcement. Follow us on Twitter. That's where we're active. That's where I talk shit. We talk shit on there to the peoples and
He's
to
talking
the
hell. He's talking hella shit.
yeah
He
to the
really is.
enemies, to the enemies, because I hate you. What else do you say? Yeah, shit like that. Because you are my enemy.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And then he went like, ah. All right, so that was our announcement. Yeah, so on Twitter we do that stuff. And what's up, man?
How's everything?
We're doing good. We're doing good. A lot of busy stuff happening this week. Believe it or not.
That's good.
Breaking news
I
for
just
today.
realized that my head is shiny.
Yeah, shiny ass head. He just polished it. That's why.
Look,
It's not real. That's not real hair. He got that from He got that from Palestinian children.
The light follows wherever I go.
Alrighty.
And darkness still follows me.
The darkness follows you as a genocide unfolds in Gaza. That's probably what they said.
How's everything with you, man? How's your weekend?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Our weekend is good because today, the president of Penn University, the Ivy League, not Penn State, University of Pennsylvania, resigned voluntarily. So she decided to quit after a controversial hearing or performance at a hearing in Congress this week, where she and the president of Harvard and MIT pretty much sat there and refused to say that Palestinians or pro-Gaza, rather pro-Hamas people, protesting on their campus and saying things like intifada and from the river to the sea, that they were not conducting in harassment, in assault, and that only if they actually, pretty much saying that only if they carried out the genocide, that's when it would be a violation of the code, which is insane.
Oh God.
Which is
Yeah,
insane.
what the hell?
Because they wouldn't go. So we all know what happens on these universities. So we've been seeing it in the news. I'm not going to show videos or anything like that. I don't have a slideshow to show you, but to show you headlines. But we've all seen it, that all these kids on all these campuses, whether it's Harvard, Yale, UPenn, or whether it's in front of the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center in New York, whether it's them running into a mall in Manhattan, because that's, apparently doing that means something, or going outside of a Jewish restaurant in Philadelphia and shouting, yeah, Goldie, Goldie, genocide, whatever the fuck that meant. Well, that's what they said, Goldie, Goldie.
Yeah.
What is it, Goldie? Something like that, about genocide and how because just because you're Jewish and have a restaurant in Philadelphia, that means you're committing genocide.
These protesters are very catchy with the words sometimes.
Yeah, they're very catchy, but they don't understand the thing they're saying, which is the reality of the situation.
Racism.
Because if you told them, okay, what river and what sea, they're not going to know.
They
don't know. They have no idea. Like, okay, which one and when?
Can I ask you what river and what sea?
River? What sea?
The river that's in
river.
Gaza. Yeah,
the Gaza Ocean.
The Gaza.
Because they don't
Gaza
know.
Lake.
The Gaza. the Gaza cart.
The Gaza water park.
Gaza flags.
Yeah, imagine a bunch of women that like fully covered in hijabs and they go to the water park and take selfies. We at the water park.
6 hijabs.
You can't even tell who they are or what they look like.
Yeah, it's more like 6 hijabs.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
But that's just the reality. So they don't know, and so these university professors. We're gonna show the video of them testifying just so people understand how ridiculous the situation has been.
Yeah, because these people never understand.
Yeah, they have to see the stupidity. So they were testifying with what was it? Elise, was it Stenoff?
Dr. Kornbluth. Yes. At MIT, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate MIT's code of conduct or rules regarding bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
If targeted at individuals, not making public statements.
Yes or no? Calling for the genocide of Jews does not constitute bullying and harassment?
I have not heard calling for the genocide for Jews on our campus.
But you've heard chants for intifada.
I've heard chants which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context, when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
Sally Corn Bluff.
So those would not be according to the MIT's code of conduct or rules.
That would be investigated as harassment if pervasive and severe.
Ms. McGill, at Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment, yes.
I am asking,
What is she smiling about?
specifically calling for the genocide of Jews, does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment.
But if you ask them the context, they don't have context. Like, what is the context?
No, they can't even say a simple yes or no.
They can't. They won't, because they know what's happening when they get back home.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill. So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If it if the
Yes
speech
or no?
becomes if the speech becomes conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment? This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill. I'm going to give you one more opportunity for the world to see your answer. Does
Damn.
calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be harassment.
Yeah, get
The
her
answer
out of
is
here.
yes. And Dr. Gay, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of...
All right, before you see anything, yes, this person, not only is her name gay, but she is gay.
Oh, typical.
I think. Have you seen this?
I've only seen a small parts of it. I didn't see this whole thing.
Okay, I think as far as I know, she is gay.
Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing with Mrs. Gay, whatever she is.
He says gay. Oh, never mind, she's not gay.
Mrs. Gay, why are
That's
you
a
gay?
disappointment. That's a disappointment.
Why is that a disappointment?
You should be gay with that last name. You should be gay. But anyway, we'll see why.
Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
She looks gay.
Targeted as an individual, targeted at an individual.
It's
severe,
targeted at
pervasive.
Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time.
Yeah.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric. When
And is it
crosses into
anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Oh, was her? No, yeah, I did saw this part right here. Yeah, I
that
just saw
amounts
this
to
one.
Bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes,
Look at the guy
that
behind.
calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I think
Dr. Kornbluth,
let's just get here.
She did a fine job.
Yeah, that was a fine job. I've seen reactions online, obviously, of just different people having different opinions and when they got back, obviously, I mean, we obviously know why they're walking such a fine line and why they won't say it, even if they did believe it. And as far as I know, I don't think they do. I don't think they believe that. I don't think they believe that calling for the genocide of Jews should be punished, because I think in their minds they view it not only as a good thing, as a noble thing, because they view this as a struggle between the oppressed and the oppressors. So they think that this is a resistance fight. And then second of all, they view this as free speech. They view this as they have the right to protest, and so they mix that in. And that is a legitimate debate. Okay, that we'll have another day if we want to. I don't feel like it, but because this is pointless. But it's okay. Well, if you're having a protest and you do have the right to freedom of speech, are you allowed to say everything? anything. That's when that's when it gets dicey. It's like that does mean that you do need context, but we know the context. The context is simple. They're not saying genocide of Jews as a joke. They're not saying genocide of Jews as a matter of exaggeration. No, they mean that, because when you
Yeah.
keep saying things like Antifada and River to the Sea, even though they don't know what river it is and they don't know what sea it is. In fact, they don't know where Gaza is.
Well, some people don't even know what that even means too.
They don't. Exactly.
It's a code for it, yeah.
It's a code. That just means that is another thing calling for the elimination of Israel. And when you say the elimination of Israel, or explicitly implying the elimination of Israel by saying that you want a complete unified Palestinian state or country, that obviously means the end of Israel. So what happens to those people? Do they just become Israelis? Do they just become Palestinian? No, they're going to kick them out.
I mean, there are reasons why there are code of conducts. And, we have stuff like that. She mentioned harassment and bullying. And
Exactly.
people like them want to, like you said, want to mix it up with this is freedom of speech. Well, this is also harassment and bullying.
Exactly. But then when
I-
you've see anybody who hasn't, like, if we had never seen these things and thought this was our first time seeing a protest and on a university campus, we'd be like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like, oh, that is weird. But we've seen that. Replace Jews with gays, blacks, Hispanics, or trans, especially trans blacks, because apparently that's a real thing.
It's a whole different group, yeah.
You already know what would happen if those kids were protesting saying, kill all the blacks or gays or trans or Hispanics. We all know what would be happening. There would be a revolution on their hands. Those people would be giving away money like crazy.
Oh my
The
god.
groups. They would be giving charity. They would be giving
Athletes,
money.
celebrities.
Oh my god, they would
God.
be LeBron James would be crying. He'd be crying. There'd be a walkout.
Big tall dude just like sitting there crying right in
There'd
front
be
of
a
the screen.
walkout. Remember, they walked out, I think, when the Wisconsin thing happened. Not just George Floyd, but I think they walked out when the Wisconsin thing happened, and it turned out that he was actually,
what's that guy's name?
the guy who was actually going to stab a girl because he raped another kid. I guess something like that. I forget his name. I think that's the one where they walked
No,
out.
I think he was gonna yeah, I think he was like sexually violate his ex. Yeah, I forgot what his name. I even looked it up last
Jacob
time.
Blake.
Jacob Blake, there you go.
Yeah, who turned out to be a criminal. I mean, he already was. Not only was he already a criminal, but he was armed with a machete and about to harm a woman that he wanted to force with him. I think his daughter or something, away from the mother or something. No, not his daughter, but a daughter. I think he was attacking a woman, another woman, something like that. And he tried to break into the home. But this is the level of the lack of context that these people have. So when they say context, we know that's bullshit because they don't know the context. They don't know the history. They haven't known it. They haven't read anything. They don't know anything because you prove that by talking to them. Why are they out there? Because they have a deep sense of hatred towards Jewish people and Israelis. That is the point. End of fucking story. That's why they're out there. There isn't because I feel bad about human trafficking. If they were out there saying, human trafficking or because of pollution, okay, I get it. I get it. That's a reasonable thing for you to be out there, whether I agree with it or not. But to go out there and say, yeah, we're going to go out here and chant for genocide, and then add other things into it that don't make any sense. Like we've talked about someone we know, well, genocide in the Congo. There is no context there because you don't understand any. And to say that, oh, I'm going to walk out and enjoy and protest, not just for them, but also because of the Congo. First of all, you don't even know where the Congo is. Second of all, you have no idea what's going on in there. And third of all, you don't understand the history of the situation. The Belgians don't own the Congo anymore. They haven't owned the Congo for over 50, 60 years. And the Congo is led by a socialist communist government or a socialist government that takes in billions of dollars from China. So how is that genocidal? I don't understand how you can be paid hundreds of billions of dollars by China but have a genocide at the same time. I don't get that. And then have a genocide by some other group.
It's crazy. Nobody even cares about China. Nobody even mentions about China.
Nobody mentions them because that's how big the propaganda is. That's how big the propaganda is.
It's scary.
They're now led to believe that everything bad in the world happens because of two main people. It's the United States and or Israel. That's why. They've been convinced of that. But these kids don't know that. They just know the key words. Racism. That's racist. Genocide. Oppression. apartheid, they just shout out words. They don't know the meaning of them. They don't know how to use them in a sentence. They don't understand the history behind things. They don't understand any of these things. They don't understand what apartheid in South Africa meant. They just know that Nelson Mandela went into jail because he's black, and there were white people that were racist. But they don't understand anything about it. They don't understand the history. They don't understand the history. So they say things like Africans are all, we have to, I love all the Africans. All the Africans don't like each other.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
bet none of
First
them like
of
you
all,
either.
and they don't like you. That's the second thing. They don't like each other, and they don't like you because you're also not one of them. Because you're not African. They don't view you as African. You don't live in Africa. You never grew up as an African. You never did. So that's the first. That's just part of it. So it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make. And then these university professors, who are scared shitless if they aren't complicit with these protests, are worried because if they go back home to the universities, they're going to face a backlash.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, do you think that they have someone right on their ears telling them what to do,
Well, remember
what to
these
say, and what to do?
these people, they're not teachers. They're not professors. You
Because
become a
they're all doing it at the same time. Even Harvard's doing it too.
they're all each of those people, and typically school administrators, they're typically not professors like presidents of universities. Those three are lawyers. They're lawyers. So they understand language in a way that they can manipulate. That's why I don't like lawyers, because they just do sophistry. They
Yeah,
just
they
they don't have a point. They don't have a reason. They don't have logic. They use the language in order to make themselves or to void themselves of any responsibility or culpability or accountability. So they use the language to give you a non-answer, because that's what they're trained for. They're trained to
I
manipulate
will say,
language
yeah.
and create an argument out of nothing. And
And
that's
they're
what
really good at it.
sophistry is.
Yeah.
And they're really good at it. See, they could get away with that on anybody else. What depends on the context? See, she didn't fall for the bait because she could have acted what context, and they would have went into some spiel. That's what they were waiting for. But she said, "No, it doesn't. It's yes or no. Does genocide of Jews, shouting for the genocide of Jews, is that?" And so they're done. They're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I have to find a way out of this," because they knew that if they go back home, they're going to be attacked by the mob. Remember, Harvard is the same institution that has 1% of faculty voting, leaning conservative. These are not places that believe in freedom of speech. These are not places that believe in freedom of expression. They do not. They don't do that. That's why you've seen tons of donors, mainly Bill Ackman, who's been on Twitter mostly every day, just like Elon Musk. Don't you have a job? They've been on there pretty much complaining, and I get it. This is personal for them, and I get this, but they're complaining about the anti-Semitism on college campuses, and they're right. And they're out there tweeting and saying, you know what, we're going to stop donating. And we've seen tons of people, not just those three Ivy Leagues, but we're seeing Yale, we're seeing Columbia University, we've seen NYU. I think maybe, and we're going to see other universities around the country, Stanford. They're going to start losing people who donate, not just because they're Jewish, but people who aren't Jewish might come out and say, yeah, I don't tolerate that behavior. Now that they see this clip, I would predict in this following week, you're going to see people that aren't Jewish that maybe donate because they're liberals and they love those institutions because they think that they defend freedom of speech, even though that's bullshit. We know that. They're probably going to start coming out and say, you know what? I'm not gonna donate another $1 million like I used to last year. I'm gonna keep that, and I might donate to an Israeli charity, because I don't believe that this is right what they're saying, that they're allowing these kids to effectively run these colleges.
And you see that a lot with Jewish donors as well. Like they just don't want to do it no more.
They're pulling out because they don't believe it, and it's the fact of this always happened on these universities, is that these adults who are old enough to know better and mature enough and self-portray themselves as educated enough to know better are letting these kids that are too young and are too dumb enough to know any better. They're telling them that yes,
It's
you
like,
can
what do they
protest,
know?
that in the name of protest and social advocacy, that you can break any rules, that you can insult anyone, that you can do anything without the repercussions of consequence, without facing the repercussions of or any consequences. And that is essentially wrong. And those college administrators and professors are old enough to know better. And they're letting these kids run amok. They're old enough to know better, but they're letting these kids do whatever the hell they want.
Would you still a weird question. Would you still let your kids go to universities even though you know that shit is happening like this?
I think university is a good debate because I don't like it when like conservatives come on the other side and say that, oh, universities are pointless. You don't need to go. I think if you want to be a really great writer, I think university helps you. I think if you want to be a journalist, a real journalist, I think university could help you. If you're obviously going into STEM, or if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a scientist, you have to go to university. If you want to be a finance person, you should go to a university because there are technical skills you can learn. But I think that the options of it also depends. Like if your kid wants to be a plumber, why am I sending you to college?
Yeah.
If you want to be a welder, why would you go to college? You need
What
to
do
go
you
to trade school. That's
what do
it.
we need like a math degree to do plumbing?
Exactly. I mean, if you want to be a mathematician, you
I
should
mean,
go
like,
to college. So
knowing the
there are
fact that
things.
your kid wants to go to a specific university, right? Knowing that they're spewing this uh weird agenda, this woke agenda, or anything like that, would you still let them go?
I think we would have a serious discussion on where he's going and what he wants to do. So I think
Okay.
it would matter. Like, where do you want to go? It's also, do you have the grades to go to? Because obviously you need the grades to go to UPenn. You need the grades to go to Harvard. But let's just assume
Right,
he does.
right,
He
right.
scored a 1560 on the SAT, which is out of 1600. Not like when we were in school where it was out of 2400. Now it's out of 1600.
Well, oh yeah.
So let's say my kid scores a 1560 on
Oh
the
yeah,
SAT.
it was a 2400, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So let's say it's
They're
1560 now,
fucked.
and they might go to college, and they could go to any of those colleges, MIT, whatever. It's like we're gonna have a good discussion, and we're gonna say, look, this is what you need to learn, and I think you have to prepare them and tell them, look, you're going to school to learn technical skills on how to be a biologist, or how to be or a financial planner, or how to be a marketer, or how to be a doctor or a lawyer. You're not going to school to learn about whether I believe in human rights or that's not you believe in that. That's an automatic. So you don't believe in human rights because you're college educated. You believe in human rights because you were raised in a decent way, and you're raised at home to
Yeah.
believe that every human life has a value and that people deserve respect.
And I'm happy that I was raised that way, yeah.
You should be raised that way. So you don't go to college to learn that. You can
No,
learn
you don't. You
history.
really don't. No.
You don't go to college to learn that. You don't learn college to become a better person. You go to college to learn a set of skills that will help you make more money in the long term. So you don't get stuck working at McDonald's, which isn't a bad job, but guess what? That's not ideal. That's why you go to college because you
It's
want to
not
make.
good enough to keep your rent up.
No, you can't raise a family on that. You can't. So and so you go to college because you want to gain more income. But college isn't the only avenue. And so these universities have taken advantage of this indoctrination that yeah, you have to go to college, you have to go to college. And so their prices are high. The quality of the service is now lower because if you look at a university student who wrote a paper in 1970 and compare them to a paper they wrote today, the paper from 1970 when they didn't have all these sources online blows them out of the water. It's far more better written. It has better vocabulary. They have the grammar structure. They have a better paragraph structure. They have better sentence structure. They have better ways of illustrating points. They're more articulate in their writing.
You also wouldn't see them write like a bunch of times.
Exactly, or say it in their speech. And it's also the quality of admissions. Where you saw it, we both saw it, that if you're in 2020, 2021, a student from Brooklyn could write BLM, 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 BLM on their university essay, and they would get accepted to Harvard. It happened.
Yeah.
The kid wrote BLM 10,000 times on their essay, and that was their essay to go to college. That was their mission statement to go to university, to a prestigious university. They wrote BLM 3,000 times or something, and they were accepted. Despite they don't look at the GPA, they don't look at the SAT scores, they're not looking at the extracurriculars, they're not looking at how the person is. They're just
That's
looking
really
at,
scary.
and that's the scary thing. So these university administrators are responsible for that. And people are now finally catching up and saying, wait a second, this makes no sense. This makes absolutely no sense that we're paying you, and yet we're paying all this money in tuition. Remember, back during COVID, the university still charged you full price on the tuition, even though everything was online on Zoom. They charged you for room and board. They charged you for all the fees, even though you were confined to your dorm on Zoom. receiving a lackluster education. That was all happening. The university still charged the full price. And so I think people are now going to realize, yeah, this is insane. This is insane that there are these kids being allowed to do whatever the hell they want. They can say whatever the hell they want. It doesn't matter what they do. It just matters as that they're on the right side of the oppressed versus the oppressors. And they believe that they're on the right side. And that justifies them to say or do whatever the hell they want. And that's a problem.
It is a problem for sure.
All right, we're going to move on to the next topic. We're going to move on to the debates that happened this week between the Four Stooges. Did you watch the debate?
A little bit, not much.
Not much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I started watching the debate. I started watching the debate because it was very fiery. I'm going to give just a quick. Would I recommend you watch this debate? I would never recommend you watch them because they're boring as hell and not interesting.
Yeah, that's why I don't really.
But this turned out to be the best debate out of any of them that they ever had. This turned out to be the best debate they had.
Awesome.
This turned out to be the best they had. This is the last debate. So this was the fourth and last debate. So this is probably why the fireworks went off. Because this was the time where they had to leave a lasting impression before the Iowa caucus, which is coming up just shortly soon, in a couple of weeks.
Wait,
So,
was Ron wearing his heels this time?
Ron wasn't wearing, he was wearing boots with heels.
Tomato, tomato.
He was wearing boots, not just heels, but he was wearing boots, not stilettos like he was before.
The stilettos.
Stilettos. So I'll just give my 4 reactions. I mean, I had 4 takeaways. I had them out on Twitter. Check us out on Twitter. Subscribe so you can get our thoughts on everything that we write. Because I thought, that was incredibly important and significant, and etc. So I had a couple main points really. I'm just gonna look for it here real quick. I sent you some stuff about the debate. I thought it was incredibly significant. I should read it over and like it.
So it's like a mix of Haley or Ramaswamy that won.
Yeah. Well, I thought. Well, I'm just gonna say the clear winner was Vivek. Vivek came out. He came out for everybody's neck. He went at Christie. He went at
Christie
Nikki
doesn't have a
Haley.
neck.
He went at DeSantis. Well, he went for his girth, and he went at everybody. And I think that
He went for his what?
he went for his girth, his orbit.
You
went
say it
for-
like that.
He went for his orbit, for his tonnage. No, but he went for everybody, and he brought up the topics that I think the constituency really cares about. Nobody wants to debate Roe v. Wade and abortion 10,000 times like Ron
No.
DeSantis and Mike Pence
No.
want to. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to talk about that because that lost the election. Not Donald Trump being on the ticket like DeSantis wants to make it seem. It was abortion and the fact that these Republican governors, like Ron DeSantis, are unable to make it a popular option. They're not able to do it. And that's why people just and remember, we saw it. People just started voting on the other side.
Yeah, it's kind of a turnoff when a Republican want to go ahead and talk about abortion.
Yeah, they don't know how to market the issue.
They really don't know. Yeah.
So I had 4 major takeaways. I thought he distinguished himself. I thought he was far more knowledgeable than all the other candidates. I thought that he was able to articulate particularly on foreign policy, where I
He
think
is Indian.
I think foreign policy is the most important subject just because of the situation worldwide, where we have China, Russia coalescing, North Korea, we have Israel, Palestine, we have the war in Ukraine. And I think Vivek is able to, in a way that Trump doesn't have to, but Vivek is able to clearly articulate several points that he believes are significant in each of those topics. So he's able to articulate the history briefly, what he believes should happen, and why it's significant, and what he would do. Whether that works or whether he would be good at it or whether he'd ever be the president is another thing. But he's able to articulate the topics in a manner that's not pre-rehearsed, that's not inauthentic, that comes off, you know what, I studied the topic and I now have an opinion of it, and this is it. Instead of Nikki Haley pretty much taking this hawk, she's the hawk. She is the war hawk. She and Christie is the war whale, and Nikki Haley is the war hawk. They're both active in saying, you know what, we're going to give the Pentagon all the money they want, and we're going to give Israel and Ukraine all the weapons they want because it is important that we fund war. That's essentially their belief system. And Ron DeSantis, and then Christie pointed it out, Ron DeSantis has been able to go throughout all these debates and not give a clear, concise policy adjustment. He is not able to put his stiletto boots in the dirt and stick to a position and say, you know what, I'm going to be like Vivek. I'm going to actually be MAGA, and I'm going to say, you know what, I don't want another war, and I'm going to go out there and call for an end to this war in Ukraine, and I'm going to call for a solution in Israel. I do believe Israel has a right, but they have to. I do not want more of a war, and he should be able, instead of just saying, I believe in the right of Israel to defend itself.
But how is he gonna go around saying like I'm gonna be MAGA when I mean, well, would it work more if he would just be himself?
Well, he thinks he is. Well, himself is. I don't know. I don't think he. I don't think.
I don't
there
even know
a
what he is
himself.
himself.
Exactly.
I don't know
what he is. Because all these years that he's been the governor, I've been seeing this other thing. He's been trying to pretend he's Trump. He talks in the way he puts his finger up, and he talks in the gestures, and he does this and that, and he pretends he's Trump.
Give me a second. Go ahead.
And so he pretends he's Trump, and he goes out, and he's having all these hand gestures, and he has the sassiness, and he has this and that. So I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. And he continues to come off as an inauthentic person. My third takeaway was, you know, Christie should have not been on the debate stage. We all know that he is effectively just done. There is no shot. He is doing well in the polls in New Hampshire, but that's because people in the area know him. He did well in New Hampshire back in 2016 and yet dropped out.
Sorry. Hope it wasn't that loud.
No, don't worry about it. Nikki Haley, she did well, but that's because the media is going to save her and her donors are going to save her. Because even though she's a neocon and a rhino, the media is going to save her. In fact, CNN in their little town hall, the people in her town hall said that Nikki Haley won the debate. And in my mind, I'm like, wait, what? How? I get it. She's articulate. She's clever. She has strong
she's a
positions.
woman.
And she's a woman. But her positions don't line up with the majority of her own party. If she was a Democrat, that'd be great. She'd be Joe Biden in a wig and with in heels. But she's not. And she is a Republican who won't get the support because and Vivek has been able to demonstrate this, she is corrupt. The fact that she was broke and bankrupt when she left the governor's office of South Carolina and when she left being ambassador of the UN, and then she became extremely wealthy through effectively turning her husband and her family into a lobbying group for the defense contractors and the defense lobbyists and all those defense companies. That's what she did, and that's why she's extremely wealthy. And so she'll be saved because they want someone in charge that's going to be aligned with them and do whatever the hell they want. And then my fourth takeaway, and this is my thing that I've had with DeSantis. See, people think, oh, I'm just shitting on DeSantis, and I am. But it's because I have high expectations for someone. You know, when you come out and tell me and position yourself as the next leader of a movement, the next leader of a party, when you say you're going to bring generational change into the Republican Party and you're going to be the man, and you're going to be the next Reagan or the next Trump or the next whatever, and if that's how you and your people position yourself, I expect more. I have high expectations because
you have to do more, yeah.
Trump had high expectations, and not only that, he exceeded all of them. And now he's set even more. So with the bet that he's going to exceed them because we trust that he will. So I have high expectations. So when I hear people saying a safe debate, you're a loser. You're a complete loser. I don't
Especially at a time now, there's no such thing as safe debate.
I want you to go out there and put yourself on the line. This is the fourth debate. Go out there and punch a bitch in the face. Go out there and punch Nikki Haley in the face. Call her a war hawk. Say, Nikki, you want to fund endless wars. You're not talking to us how you bring us to an end. Yeah. You want to fund endless wars. Go out there and call Chris Christie fat. Go out there and call Vivek Indian and has a weird name. Just say, hey, nobody's going to vote for you because nobody knows you. And that's the truth. Nobody knows who Vivek is. Go out there. Smack a bitch. Kick some guy in the nuts. Do something crazy. Go out there and make it memorable. Make us say, damn it, Ron DeSantis went out there and he slayed. He went after all three. He didn't give a shit. And he said, you know what? All three of you are not the capable leader. I'm the only one on this stage who can win. Don't say in Florida. Go out and say, no, I'm the motherfucking boss and I call the shots. Go out there and be the guy. Trump went on that debate stage with 16 other people, and each one of them, whoever, except for Ben Carson and the ones that he liked, he went out there and said, I'm the boss. Don't fuck with me. Rand Paul, you're ugly. Why are you on the stage? Carly Fiorina, you're not my type. You're ugly as fuck.
There's
Why are you
plenty of subject right there.
Jeb, you're low energy. Yeah, there's plenty of subject there. Like pretty much saying, hey, you're not you're not on my level. And yeah, it was childish, and but guess what? It worked, because that's the way he was able to get his points across. That's the way he was able to get the TV stations to follow him for free. That's how CNN and MSNBC and ABC and NBC.
Yeah, you also gotta know how. You also gotta know what people like.
You gotta market.
When it comes to America, when it comes to American people, we all love drama.
We want to see a fight. Exactly. We
all love drama. Do something.
We tuned in to see Chris Christie get called fat and go eat some food.
Go big or go home. Go Christie, go home.
Go big or go home. Go Christie or go home. All right. Be big. This is the last debate. You got to go out there and you got to perform, and you have to leave a member. You have to leave a member. You have to make us come on this podcast and say, yeah, from 2 months from now, I want to be able to say, hey, remember when DeSantis called Christie fat?
I mean, that would be nice, yeah.
That gotta be it. I gotta remember. Hey, remember when DeSantis called Nikki Haley corrupt and a warhawk? Like, I'm gonna be saying that about Vivek now, right? Remember when
Vivek got the champion? Yeah.
Remember when Vivek put up that poster, that cardboard? He has a meme. He's a meme now. He is a memory. It doesn't matter if he doesn't win now, but we're going to remember him for a while now, because he made himself known. He went out there and he swung to the fence. He wanted he didn't want a single and then get a bunt and get no. He wanted a grand slam.
And you never know. He might, if he ever decides to go run in 2028, he might be bigger.
That's it. That's the play. No, we know by then he'll be a figure. That's why you do this, so that the next time you're around, or hell, even if this time you win, let's say by God, divine intervention, he wins. Guess what? People know him. That's the guy who called Chris Christie a fat bitch. I'll fuck with that guy. That's what people are gonna say. He just presented himself as, you know what? If it's not Trump, it's Vivek. He just did that. Everyone in the MAGA crowd is just saying, yeah, if it's not Trump, it's Vivek.
Yeah, pretty much.
Vivek like cake. Bingo. Like, that's it. So I got some videos here. That's how he said it. That's how you say his name. So here's a video of pretty much, my expectations and what
Vivek cake.
Chris Christie, he was right when he said this about DeSantis.
Dude covers the whole screen.
Ron gets asked a question and he doesn't answer it. Your question was very specific. You said, would you send American troops as commander-in-chief? And he went on to this minute and 30-second hosanna about his knowledge of the military and what we need to do, and didn't answer your question. Look, when you're president of the United States, you're not going to have a choice whether to answer that question or not. Your generals, your Secretary of Defense, your Secretary of State, your National Security Advisor are going to present plans to you. They're going to look at you and say, do we go or don't we, Mr. President? And you can't give a 90-second speech about your military problem with...
And he's right when he says that.
No, he is right. Yeah.
He's right when he says that, because it's true. I mean, he hasn't been able to give answers. And Ron is just... And I'm going to talk about Christie, because I thought that Christie was looking for that moment last night that he had in 2016 versus Marco. He was looking for that moment. I think he's been preying on Vivek, like as if he was like some plate of chicken masala, and he's been trying to find a way to say, yeah, you're the rookie and I'm the experienced politician. I know what I'm going to say and I'm going to beat you, because Christie, kind of like Trump, has the ability to come off the cuff and give a response.
Why does it look like he always got spit on the side of his mouth?
Because he does. And so Five Chins over here was looking for that moment, but it just didn't land. And I think he took that shot at DeSantis to say, you know what? I'm gonna go for the so-called front runner. This guy hasn't given an answer. It just didn't stick though, because at the end, he's only known on one thing on the stage, and it's for being an anti-Trump guy. And Macon kind of called him out.
He said that you got into this race just to stop President Trump. His approval rating with Republicans is currently at 81%. Yours is at 25%. Your best state is New Hampshire, and even there, 2/3 of GOP voters say they would be angry and disappointed if you won. Respectfully, Governor, you have not stopped Mr. Trump. And voters may wonder how you could possibly become the nominee of a party that does not appear to like you very much.
Yeah, well, look.
He said that you got.
Yeah, well.
Damn, she just ended that man's
She just
career.
ended it. And I tweeted, that was the end of Chris Christie.
She
That
pulled a
ended the
Tucker
campaign
Carlson on Mike Pence.
on him. And so, this is my funniest thing about Chris Christie, just because we're going to stop talking about Chris Christie after this. Or not after
Oh
this.
yeah, I
This
didn't
is
under. Yeah,
You
I
wanna see
didn't.
this?
I didn't understand what that meant first, but then I didn't see the bottom part. So yeah.
Oh, God. I
Look
don't
at
think I've
this.
ever laughed this hard on air. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. Oh God, I don't think I've ever laughed this hard on air. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous.
If
That's his
if,
underwear size.
if Ron does something like this, I'll be laughing.
Yeah,
I
if he
will
did
be
that,
laughing.
or if he did it to Chris, if he said what Vivek, look at what Vivek said. If he said,
Like I don't care what people say. Oh, it's childish and shit. No, I don't care. It's funny. It's funny to me. People like it.
remember, but
People
Trump
like it.
Trump didn't do this all the time. He only did this because they attacked him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if Ron said something like what Vivek is about to say, I would have been like, yeah, man, do that. Just be like, hey, you're not supposed. What are you here for? Like, look
First
what
of
Vivek
all,
said.
Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York.
Yeah.
So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race. When it comes to Nikki, first of all, Chris Christie
Look at him booing.
doesn't know what province.
No, but you know what? That's what Ron should have said. Because you know what? If and the Sims are coming at me, and if they're saying, "Hey, this guy's going to be president again because he's not childish like Trump," yeah, but guess what? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody listens. Nobody knows what he says. The only thing I can in Florida is his most memorable line, and that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Ron is not ready, and I hope in the next 20 years he's not the same like that. Honestly,
Oh, he's going to be, because if
if
you
there's gonna be
got
in
it or
America.
you don't. What are we complaining about? It's not the policy. It's not the Florida. It's that you can't sell. You look like a creep. And this is going to be, and I'll get into that because I have high expectations. So, because you're positioning yourself as the leader of a future movement that's going to spur change and generate a conservative boom in the country where people are going to become conservatives again, which you haven't done in your own state. You're losing in the Florida primary polls. Ron DeSantis is losing in the Florida primary polls. But to Trump, that is a problem.
I mean, I don't know if you know about how much is he losing by.
Double digits. Double digits. So Vivek goes out against all three, and that's what Ron should have done. Ron, you're the leader. You have to show that you're the alpha, but you're not. You're just the flag carrier. You just carry the flag. I'm the good old boy you can depend on. But you're not the leader. You're not the leader. You don't show command. You command the room. You're a presence that you can articulate in a way that convinces and sell a vision of the country. You can't do it. I've seen enough. I have seen a lot, unfortunately. I'm tired of seeing and hearing this guy, and all he talks about is in Florida. I can't go through an interview where he doesn't mention in Florida. Like, yes, I get it. Florida's great, but sell me why Florida's great. He didn't do it in the debate versus Newsom. All he held up was the phone with the map of a poop. The shit map.
The shit map.
Tell me, why is America great? Tell me why you love America. Tell me. Javier Milei is going to be the president of Argentina, and he does a better job of selling why America in the West is amazing, better than Ron DeSantis.
Ronnie, I think what Ron needs to do is bring a chainsaw.
Bring a chainsaw. Call Christie fat. Hey, say Nikki. Hey, bitch, get the fuck out of the stage. You're a warmonger. Say shit like that. Do stuff. Hey, be controversial, but he doesn't want to be. I'm good because Casey said no. Fuck Casey.
With all three of my other colleagues on this debate stage is all three of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book a year ago.
Same thing with lobbyists, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. These people are now Monday morning quarterbacking some decision he made. I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11? That the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform? That the 2020 election was indeed stolen by big tech? That the 2016 election, the one that Trump won for sure, was also one that was stolen from him by the national security establishment that actually put up the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that they knew was false? There's a reason why I'm the only person on the stage who can say these things. That's what it's going to take, not people who were licking his boots one time and now Monday morning quarterbacking him and criticizing him when it's convenient.
Governor Christie.
I am sick and tired of hearing you say that's pretty much what Christie said. After it, no, but that was the truth, and the problem is that you saw Ron's reaction. He was like, he didn't know what to do. He just like looked weird.
He said something, thought that it would be a good counterattack, but then looked at everyone else like, no, not funny. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in your book, it's like, no, man, no, like it was real. This is what Laura Loomer recorded, and then he did.
Remember, Ron, you are normal. You are not weird. You are 5'11". Your suit is soft, and your shoes are grown-up big boy shoes. That's it. Pretend you're listening to music, human music. Good. Check the phone, normal style. Activate conversation mode. Hello, you're busy. Okay, love you. Bye. Fuck. Come on, Ron, be normal. You are not a bobblehead with a dry mouth. You are a big boy with a wet mouth. Activate head turn. Activate toothless smile. Good. Very good. Activate hand gesture. Good. That's better. Remember, you are a Ron DeSantis. You aren't just normal. You're also totally not weird. Remember.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't this the same guy that did when Joe Biden was coming out of the helicopter going to the White House?
I think so. Yeah, I think they do that, but it's like,
it sounds just like him.
and I get it. Like, look, and this is the thing. Look at this tweet right here. It's like, I get it. He's with DeSantis. By the way, I've never met anybody in person who's been for DeSantis. They're all online.
I haven't seen one either, actually.
Yeah. Like, I get it. Yeah, he's a veteran. He's a lawyer. He was a baseball player at Yale or something. Talk about that. Why can't he talk about that? He can't talk about it, though. He can't tell me the experiences. Donald Trump tells me about the time he made a business deal and the day he did. Look at him talk to Hannity at this town hall. He's way older. But look at the way he talks, the way he can command the room. Look at this answer. Look at his charisma. It's just showing. Look at his posture. Look at the way he looks at Hannity in the eyes and says, what the fuck are you going to say, bitch?
Issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution.
I'm going to be. He keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No. Other than day one, we're closing the border." And we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's
all right.
exactly
an issue, though.
But look at the way he commands. Look at his posture. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's. This guy gives no fucks. He has no fears. He doesn't. He's here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he commands the room. That's a guy who's confident. That's a guy who knows. Sean Hannity, what the fuck? He's gonna ask me this dumbass question. Like, look at this guy.
Yeah, it was a weird question. I didn't really expect it from him.
Guy. He looks at the crowd and he's like, the crowd, they're my friends. Look at it. Look at this. Look at he gets scared. He jokes around. He smiles. His smile looks normal. When he smiles, it doesn't look forced.
Oh, no.
It doesn't look forced. He looks real. That's a real guy. You look at that guy. He might be crazy, but it looks real. It's not forced crazy.
I'm so surprised that his hair is still standing strong, even at an age like that.
It just sounds, and he doesn't. And what I like about the Republicans is that this is him. Nobody's telling him. What I like about him is that nobody's telling him to say this. Nobody told Trump to say this. Nobody told Trump that he had to say that.
That's also one of Ron's biggest problems is that he has too many people on his ears.
And then look at what even people that aren't don't like Trump and don't like Ron DeSantis are just getting. Look at what Stephen A. says about, and I don't like Stephen A. I watched for Steak before the personalities, but not him. And
I'm not a huge fan of him.
But look at what he says about Ron DeSantis.
Don't bring up this subject. It's about Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, but it's not about politics. It's about sports because he's talking about setting aside $1 million in the state budget for any potential litigation coming down the pike to sue the NCAA or to sue somebody because of the college football playoff selection committee. Will you stop? First of all, sir, don't you have bigger priorities? I mean, you're trailing Donald Trump by about 59 points in the polls. The man ain't even show up to debate you because he considers you that insignificant. Don't you have bigger problems? Don't you have bigger problems? And here's why I don't bring up this subject.
Bingo. See, that's what we think. Trump isn't scared of you. He just doesn't think you matter. He just thinks you're a bug. You're a bug. You don't matter. That's why he's not there. You don't matter. He doesn't think any of you are a waste of his time. And it's not because he doesn't need to. He's out there earning the vote. When he's at that town hall in Iowa, what do you think he's doing? He's talking to the people in Iowa and saying, "This is what I'm going to do." He doesn't want the vote of
He's talking to his own people and taking care of his legal issues.
He's taking care of his problems, which by the way, are not just his problems, but they're our problems. Because guess what's going to happen to Ron DeSantis if Donald Trump goes to jail? They're going to find a way to get you to jail, buddy. You're going to jail too. Vivek knows he's going to jail. They're going to. Trump is the last domino. If they get him in jail, or if they get rid of him, in other ways that we know, you know what I'm saying. Without saying it, you know what I'm saying. They are next. They are not going to be able to do what they think. If Ron DeSantis thinks, and conservatives who support him and others think that they can just waltz back into the White House. Oh, by the way, if they think there's just going to be an election in 2024 between Joe Biden and Trump and nothing abnormal is going to happen, you're kidding yourself. They're going to do something. Something's going to happen.
Yep, I agree.
That man represents so much more. And Ron DeSantis can't distinguish himself from the pack. You have to be like that. He is never going to be like that. And I'm not saying that he needs to be like Trump. But be yourself. Be charismatic.
Be yourself.
Tell me the vision. Yeah. You as a politician, you can't just be about policies. You have to sell. And before I hear complaints about the DeSantistoids and the Simps who are out there saying, "Oh, but he's presidential." Thomas Jefferson and John Adams are founders, by the way, because Ron DeSantis loves the founders and stuff, and he likes to go out there and say stuff like this. They were calling each other transvestites when they were in 1800. They were. No, they were. That's really how personal the fight got between the two of them. That's how much they disliked each other. It became personal. And they insulted each other to the point that they called each other transvestites and they called themselves homosexuals. They said, he can't be president. He likes guys. He dresses up like a woman at night. That's why you shouldn't vote for him. That's what they were writing in newspapers. They were writing those were the original tweets in pamphlets and newspapers. They were writing that.
It's funny people are saying that like the people that are running right now aren't professional.
No, they're trying to say Trump isn't professional. That's why you should vote for DeSantis.
They've been doing that shit for a long time.
It's a
exactly.
Joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
But people take it too serious.
They take it too seriously. They want it to be boring. Boring doesn't sell.
Yeah, I don't want them to be nice.
Bush was boring. You think Ronald Reagan was boring? Ronald Reagan wasn't boring. And by the way, Ronald Reagan, by the way, and Trump have more similarities than you really want to know. And they hate that when I write that. They were far more similar than DeSantis would ever be. Like, I get it. Yeah, they were both in the military. Ron DeSantis is more boring than Iraq.
Than who?
Than Iraq.
Oh. So what's next after this last debate?
There is no more debates after this.
So they're gonna declare who's the winner, and then whoever wins goes after Trump.
No, there's the Iowa caucus. The Iowa caucus. That's what comes next.
Okay.
This was the last debate for the Iowa caucus. And the Iowa caucus is on January 15th. So it's in.
Okay, let me set that in my calendar because I did not care any of these debates at all.
The Iowa caucus, which is not a debate, by the way, it's when they vote for the winner.
No, I know.
Okay, yeah, that's in January 15th. There is no more debates.
Mhm.
That was the last debate.
Okay, so January 15th.
January 15th is the.
Oh, Martin Luther King.
Oh well, yeah, Martin Luther King. And then after that, there's going to be other debates, obviously. But before the Iowa primary, this is the last debate. So then afterwards, oh wow, no, they're announcing more debates. Why are they announcing more debates?
Really?
More debates? January 10th on Jarrick University, Iowa by CNN. January 18th in New Hampshire by ABC News. And then January 21st at New Hampshire, CNN again. So these are obviously to be announced, of course. So if people drop out by then, and I'm sure Christie is probably going to drop out by Iowa. I don't think he makes it to Iowa. I think Nikki Haley, if Ron DeSantis, the ending is South Carolina. I do not think all three of them make it. Vivek might stay on, but I don't think they make it to South. I don't think Ron makes it to Super Tuesday. I don't think so. If he loses if he loses Iowa, if Ron DeSantis loses Iowa, there's a good chance he's out. If he loses New Hampshire, that might not be a big deal. But I think but if he loses in Iowa badly, let's say if he loses in Iowa by at least 20 points, I think there's a good shot that he's out. That he's out after New Hampshire. I don't think he makes it to South Carolina. I think Nikki Haley makes it to South Carolina if she does well in Iowa. So if Nikki Haley comes in second in Iowa and third or second in New Hampshire.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely see Nikki and
she makes it to
Vivek
South
if they
Carolina.
keep doing what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think DeSantis is in trouble. I think he doesn't make it. So I don't think he makes it to South Carolina if he does fourth.
Man, what the fuck is he gonna do?
Yeah, because I don't think they make it to Super Tuesday. Because if Super Tuesday comes, Trump's probably gonna.
Well, we had to prepare for Chris Christie dropping it because it's gonna be a huge earthquake.
That's when he drops. That's gonna be huge.
Like literally when he drops. Yeah.
Yeah, when he drops out, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. So
we're looking at the primary calendar.
ABC
Super
News
Tuesday.
and CNN.
So Super Tuesday. Oh wow, they changed the calendar. So they have. So oh wow, South Carolina. Oh wow, Nevada is.
Wow.
Nevada goes before South Carolina.
Wow.
So it's January 15th, Iowa, January 23rd, New Hampshire, Nevada, February 6th. Oh, but the caucus is on the 8th. So February 8th is the caucus.
February 8th? Okay.
February 8th is the caucus in Nevada. February 24th. Yeah, I don't think they make it. I don't think DeSantis makes it to Nevada. Yeah, I definitely don't think he makes it to the Florida primary. The Florida primary is on March 19th. In order to get to the Florida primary, Ron DeSantis has to do decently on Super Tuesday. He has to win in at least. He has to win. There's the states in Super Tuesday are Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia.
Good luck to him.
I don't think he wins.
I just want to.
I don't think he wins any of these, to be honest with you. I don't think he can.
Yeah, after he
can
loses,
win
I
in
want to
Utah?
see.
Utah could be one that he might win because there's the Mitt Romney won in Utah, so why can't Ron? Yeah, he's not. I just don't see it. I don't see him. He's not winning Alabama. He's just not. He's not, because if you're not popular in Florida, you're not going to be popular in Alabama.
Here, maybe. Here, why don't we do this? Why don't we make a poll on Twitter and see if Ron DeSantis can make it?
All right, we'll do a poll. We'll do a poll on Twitter.
Let the people vote.
We'll do a poll on Twitter. We'll see what happens. I'll figure out how we're going to word this.
Yeah, let's see what our followers say.
When does he drop out? Super Tuesday, after Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, or Super Tuesday? When does he drop out? I'll do it after. When does he? Okay. I do want to show a video on before we get to Alex Jones and all that, because I know you have thoughts to say. I do want to show a video about what they were doing, what he and Casey DeSantis were doing. After the Iowa caucus, after Iowa, pretty much saying, go out there and vote. So she pretty much came out. Laura Loomer, who is, my celebrity crush now.
Shut up.
Casey DeSantis pretty much came out and said, you know what, we're going to bus people to Iowa to vote for Ron DeSantis. Pretty much. And here's her words. Who now is the Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama of the campaign. She's the next Jill Biden.
Man, I just wish she should be running.
We have a huge coalition across the United States of America of mothers and grandmoms. When the governor was reelected, we had a coalition of 1.1.
When the governor, you don't work for him. That is your husband.
Why is she pumping up like that?
Why are you calling him the governor? That's your husband. When Ron. And why is he on? Why is she there? He can't talk.
Maybe it sounds a bit more professional.
It doesn't. No one's voting for you, ma'am.
1 million mothers and
Melania would never. Now we're gonna start over again to hear this bitch. I mean, she's hot, but come on. And I'm sorry to say that word, but come on, man.
Say it again.
RD24? RD2?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What is this?
We have a huge coalition across the United States of America of mothers and grandmoms. When the governor was reelected, we had a coalition of 1.1 million mothers and grandmoms in the state of Florida. That was the largest that had ever been done in the history of our state, and probably, I would argue, across the nation. We're asking all of these moms and grandmoms to come from wherever it might be, North Carolina, South Carolina, and to descend upon the state of Iowa to be a part of the caucus, because you do not have to be a resident of Iowa to be able to participate in the caucus. So moms and grandmoms are going to be able to come and be a part and to let their voice be heard in support of Ron DeSantis.
She just pretty much said that you don't need to vote. You don't need to be a citizen of Iowa to participate. So she's effectively calling for people to come in and vote for Ron DeSantis. Out of state. She wants to bus people in from Florida or from the country into Iowa to vote for Ron. That's how desperate they are. 1.1 million people online, and that's what they want now. They want to bus them into Iowa to vote for him in the caucus. And then the Iowa GOP pretty much came out and said, hey, you need to show ID if you're going to participate in the caucus.
Yeah.
They came in right after this and said this. You need to be a citizen, a resident of Iowa to vote in the caucus. You need to show us ID.
Maybe he wants the illegals to come in too.
They are that's classic election interference and cheating. Casey DeSantis. I mean, I love you, Casey, but come on now.
No, you don't. I love her.
I love Casey, but come on now. This is what it's come to. You can't.
What a simp.
You can't spread your message and get out there. Why aren't the men talking?
Yeah.
Why isn't the man of the house talking? Why isn't
It's so annoying, man.
We're gonna get canceled. No, but
I don't give a damn.
But it's like, dude, Ron, Melania would never. She came out.
I mean, she never wanted to do it in the first place.
She's coming out behind the scenes and saying, oh, I think Tucker should be the running mate for my husband. And she's coming out and saying, oh, the children, I care about the children, and don't bully. And that's what we like. Oh, Melania is beautiful, the white dress, the elegance, people love her. Putin thinks she's hot. Oh, don't bully the children. I care about the children and the Christmas tree and the Tucker. That's what Melania. That's why we love Melania. Because she stayed away from the politics. She wasn't Hillary Clinton saying, I need an office in the West Wing. She wasn't Michelle Obama crying at us and telling us that we need to change school foods. Your husband's the president. Tell him.
Yeah, exactly.
If you fuck him at night, you can't tell him.
Yeah. Wait, what? I just realized what you just said.
We don't want another Michelle Obama, Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, who was a kindergarten teacher and now apparently is a doctor, or another Hillary. We don't want that, Casey. All right? We want your husband to tell me Sell me. Riz me up, bro. Riz me. That's what I
Yeah,
need.
not just your beauty. You gotta do more.
Ron DeSantis, riz me up. Sell me the dream of America. Tell me why waking up in America with you is great. Do it, but he can't. He hasn't done it.
No,
He hasn't done it.
you
Trump
can't
did
do
it
that.
though. Trump has rizzed everyone up, and that's the thing. It's that you have to be able to sell. I get it. Your policies are great, but if you can't sell it to me, I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't want it either.
I do not want it. I do not want this, please. Okay.
I want to be sure I make it cheap.
Before we're done here, Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson.
It was a really good one actually.
That was a good one. I think if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. I highly suggest it. Several points I think he brought up there that were significant. I mean, first off, he talked about. I think the most important thing, before the person, I'm not going to give a biography on Alex Jones. I'm not doing that. That's a waste of time. We all know who he is, and we're not going into Tucker. And no, I don't want to talk about personalities. And do you think he's cool? I don't know. We're going to talk about the big points. He's absolutely right that a war with Iran, or a confrontation or heightening of a conflict with Iran, would mean that every single sleeper cell in the country would awaken, and they have threatened us with that. They know, and the FBI knows that there are Hamas and Hezbollah's fighters in the country. That is who is crossing our border. Those are the those are the wolves in sheep's clothing that are crossing our border as poor refugees. They are in Europe, and they are now in the United States. And if there is a conflict, we are going to see actual Hezbollah fighters, not Al Qaeda terrorists who shout out and blow up a stapler. They are going to be actual terrorist fighters in the country operating and carrying out guerrilla style military operations in the country, because they are going to be sleeper cells in this country activating if there is a big conflict with Iran. And the government in the Biden administration is directly involved in that. And they should be going to jail for this. I agree. They should be.
Yeah.
They are actively putting the people in danger. Go ahead.
The way he also explained, if we were to go to war with Iran, he also mentioned like Hezbollah will make Hamas look like he said something that will make him look like something, but I didn't realize the way he was explaining it is that Hezbollah is really that big as a terrorist group.
It's not really that they're that big. They are trained professional fighters. They have the backing of the Iranian government. They have weaponry, and they have the ability to carry out these attacks. They have experience. Hamas is a small part of a small ally. Hezbollah is a experienced, well-trained group that can carry out operations in the United States through sleeper cells. They will have sleeper cells in the country hidden within the population. I guarantee you they have that now. And the FBI and CIA know that. And if we have a war with Iran, not to say that we'll lose, but we will feel real conflict in the country because they have now slipped into our nation. They are in our cities. We'll see them in places like New York, maybe Los Angeles, in Miami. We will see them.
Yeah, it won't be a losing battle, but it will be damaging because they are also inside the country as well.
They are here, and that's what he meant. And I thought that was a very, very explicit point. I thought that was very, I think that opened people. I think that would open people's eyes. That's why I suggested that will open your eyes and your mind to what the realities would be. This isn't a hypothetical. This is a reality of what the situation is. Not that I think, I feel, that's cool, I didn't know. No, this is the reality of what will happen in the war. Because we have not, as a country, suffered the consequences. We've been lucky enough that we have two major oceans, or we did, that struck fear into our enemies and saying, yeah, they're far.
Yeah.
They're far. We haven't suffered that big of a loss since 9/11. Yeah, we have the mass shootings, and we have the terrorism sometimes of. We saw the shootings of.
It's all on the inside, yeah.
We saw the mass shootings we did. That woman out there, the Iranian woman, who, by the way, was hot. The depressed yoga lady in Los Angeles. You remember that? What was that? Bakersfield. No, that was San Bernardino in 2017, 2018.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it did start with letter B, something like that, yeah.
San Bernardino. That was a symptom of what can happen on a small scale. A bigger scale of that, well, you'll see actual fighters in vans and pickup trucks coming out and committing heinous crimes. That's what you're going to see. And we're not used to that. We've never seen that in the country. That is something that can happen, and it's directly attributed to the fact that Biden and his people have let these people in come in through the millions. Through the millions. And when you have university kids, it's a perfect storm. And that's what the interview should have showed you. He has been able to show you how everything connects. How the big pharma, how the military, how the scientists, how the food, how the financiers, how all these people connect, and how they all work in one big chain to enact this huge change that he talks about, which is the WEF, in this great reset, which is extremely draconian. The fact that they want to have a depopulation down to 500 million people worldwide, that they want to have,
that's the scary part, yeah.
that they're going to decide who matters. That even though Carl Schwab has a bigger footprint than you and I combined, he believes that he has the right, because he has positioned himself as to, and I've always said this, that these communists and that these globalists, they have this God complex, that they are above the human species in terms of they are able to decide for an entire species of people, because they are above them. They are now more than human. They are transhuman. They are godlike in terms of that. They are above everyone. They live in seclusion. They fly anywhere. They can say anything. They are not unaffected by what they do. And they believe that they have the ability or the right to enact change in any way, manner, fit. That they can move pieces on a chessboard and do whatever they want. Oh, I can do whatever they want. Oh. That they can decide if you have the right to live. They can decide if you have the right to have children. They have the right to tell you that you are going to eat crickets. They have the right to tell you that you can't have a car. You can't own an apartment. You can't buy a house. You can't raise your family. You can't believe in God. You have to believe in them. They are now God. That's what they believe they have a right to do, because they believe that they are godlike. They are human. They are deities. That they are above the human civilization.
I mean, normally when a normal human being, I mean, what I even call him normal human being. Normally when you hear someone say that I am God, you guys look, beneath me or anything like that. Don't you think that they tend to crumble quick?
Now, if I heard that as a normal human being, I'd be like, "Yeah, you're insane. You're retarded."
Yeah, yeah.
It
wouldn't last. It wouldn't last that long.
They're not delving into that area. And yes, and every single leader who has attempted to position himself as something like that, every time there's been an experiment like that, it doesn't work out. It crumbles. People do
does crumble.
People do not give into that. They do not like that. People like freedom. Yes, you may think that, yeah, there are the mass shootings. Yeah, there's people that are gay. There's people that are trans. But guess what? I like my freedom. It may not be perfect right now, but I like my freedom. I like the freedom to say, I want that gas car. I want to go build a cabin in the woods on my property. I have the right
freedom to go anywhere, the freedom to own, yeah.
I have the right to own 40 acres of land and a pickup truck. Used or new, I have the right to have it. And you can't tell me if I can have a gas stovetop or not. Who are you to tell me I can't have it? What gives you the right, or what gives you the assumption you have a bigger moral compass to decide that? Nothing does. You don't have the right to do that. So
we don't need any of those credit systems that they want to apply as well.
We don't need any of that. We don't. No one's asked. No one's
asked for. No one's voted for.
Chosen you.
Yeah.
Who elected them? Who chose them? Who told them that they have the right to tell us that they? Who gave them the right? Who gave them the right to even give an opinion? Who asked them for an opinion? Who asked you?
It was one thing that Alex mentioned was the 2024 election. I actually do think that the 2024 election will be like the last straw. It really is, and it's gonna be a lot of chaos in 2024. The idea of like going to a New Year, this is something different. Going to a New Year's party and then expect to be happy and like, oh, happy New Year's, it's gonna be a good year. There's gonna be a lot of chaos in 2024. You also mentioned about they might have a chance of assassinating Joe Biden or saying that he is not medically clear and that it won't be a Biden versus Trump.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, we did.
They are looking to replace him.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. This isn't new. They are looking to replace him. They've.
It's already
shown
starting.
that.
Yes.
Why else are they covering? They spent years telling us the laptop didn't exist, and then out of nowhere it exists.
Yeah.
They spent years telling us that he didn't impregnate a girl in Kentucky, and then that he didn't have a child, and that wasn't the actual child. Then it turns out, oh yeah, that is his kid. And how dare Joe Biden not recognize this young girl? They did that. There is no goddamn reason the View would cover that if they're not trying to get rid of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So we know that's coming, and we know how they operate. There are two things. If Jill doesn't give way, they are going to get rid of him. They're going to push him aside. That's when they operate overtly. And they have refused to operate in an overt fashion because the people are onto them now. People are going to say, what the fuck? Joe Biden just died of a heart attack out of nowhere? I get he was old, but...
There's going to be a lot of questions when it happens, yep.
Even we're going to ask, oh shit, they killed him. They killed him.
Everyone's going to... I can see everyone doing this. Yeah, they killed him.
They killed him. He's old, but he's not unhealthy.
If Joe Biden were to be assassinated, here's what I think will happen. If Joe Biden will be assassinated, you know who they will blame? MAGA Republican.
Oh yeah,
this MAGA Republican.
Because they're going to set it up in a way. See, they don't do it in terms. Either they're gonna say he passed away at night peacefully. They could do that route, but the most attractive route for them is gonna be he was shot by a right-wing instigator. Remember what they did. Remember what they did in Michigan. Remember what it did in Michigan. They said that Gretchen Whitmer was going to be kidnapped by a bunch of right-wing extremists. And then it turned out that, oh, wait a second. They're labeled by the FBI as assets. They can't actually go to jail. And they didn't go to jail. Because they were told, the FBI came in and told the judge, yeah, they're with us. They're with us. We got to make this just disappear. And what happened? Did they apologize? Did people wake up and realize, oh yeah, that wasn't? No. Tudor Dixon lost the election to Gretchen Whitmer. That's what happened because the air, what was in the air was these Republicans. They look at what they did to me. They kidnapped me. And then what happened afterwards? Oh yeah, we found out it was the FBI.
Yeah.
So is it going to work? Of course it's going to work. Because people are so gullible, and Democrats are going to believe it, and the media is going to parrot it constantly, 24/7. It's gonna be flashing in every headline, flashing. A right wing man who's racist and who hates black people, explicitly black. That's what they're gonna say. He wrote things on Twitter saying that black trans women need to die. Keywords. He hated Arabs. Keywords. He hated Muslims. Keywords. They're going to say that guy, whoever the hell he is, Richard Whiteson, he killed Joe Biden. He shot Joe Biden. And then they're going to do the same to Trump. And they're going to come out and say a left-wing whack job who voted for Bernie Sanders came out and shot Donald Trump as he was leaving the New York district attorney's office, courthouse. Why? Because they can't end him by sending him to jail. They know what the only thing left is. That's the only thing left. And so that's part of what they can do. Those are the most extreme things they can do to ensure that they are still in charge after 24, because it is the last straw. 24, it's not the last straw. I'm not going to say that because in 2028, we're going to say the same damn thing. This is the Alamo moment, and Alex Jones kept mentioning the Alamo. And I think, and I didn't remember the Alamo, but the Alamo is the most. Yes, everybody in the Alamo died. They died, but but 3,000 out of 10,000 troops died. So when they went on after the Alamo, they were weaker. So 2024 may not be the nail in the coffin, but it may be the nail. It may be the nail in the coffin. It may not be hitting the nail in the coffin, but it may be the nail in the coffin. It may be the nail almost in the coffin. See? It may not be the end all, but it may be the beginning of the end for the deep state. So I know We
Right.
know what's going to happen. As we talked about, it's going to be crazy. Oh, they're going to be. What did we just see with the virus that's coming out in China? They're making a new virus,
Pneumonia, like.
pneumonia-like virus that goes after children and is killing people.
Yeah,
We're
now
seeing,
this time it's going after the children.
and now it's also going after
Oh,
children.
they even brought in like the monkeypox too. It was going after the gays.
Nobody believed in the monkeypox. Nobody
No,
believed in the what's the other one? They had another one that was
was
death.
like mosquitoes.
Not mosquito pox. They had another one. It was a variant of COVID. It was COVID Alpha, Omicron.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Omicron didn't work. Nobody gave a shit about Omicron. They're going to continue. They're going to flood people in, and they're going to keep the mass migrants. There could be a terrorist operation going on.
These are all steps. These are all steps.
These are all events that will happen at the same time in order to create mass hysteria. To create mass hysteria so people are distracted. They're distracted. They're focusing on the wrong things. They forget the fact that, yes, Joe Biden is corrupt. They forget the fact that Obama may have drowned his chef. They forget about the fact that Michelle Obama's a man. They forget about the fact that there's a war in Israel and Ukraine. They forget that there is real change. They forget the fact that they're making accounting errors in the Defense Department. Instead of 3 million, they're sending 3 trillion or 3 billion to Ukraine.
I mean, there is a reason why I said 2024 will be the last mark for all of us. Like when you think about it, like they're already gonna. I mean, who's gonna wait for Donald Trump being president for 2028? And they're already gonna push a lot of most of their agendas in 2024, 2025, 2026. So it's like I think like by 2028, it's probably gonna be too late. You know. That's why I said 2024 might be like the last straw.
If Trump loses?
No. And you,
Oh, yeah.
I
If
mean,
he
like
loses,
Trump
that's
is
it.
gonna be like
That's
Trump's gonna be
why
like late 80s, and when he's like 2028 or how old he's gonna be.
he's not running. He'll be dead by then. If he loses in 2024, he'll be dead. They'll find a way. They're not going to let him live on after that. If he loses, he will not continue. That's guaranteed. Guaranteed. And I get it. He doesn't think about, like, when Tucker asked him about, insinuated, yeah, you know what happens next. He's not thinking about death, because to him, he's confident enough to say, I cannot live anything they'll throw at me. Better said than done. But he's confident, and that's what I like. That's what we like about it.
I'd rather him. Yeah, I'd rather him being confident.
Be
Yeah.
confident, and instead of gloomy like RFK and say, "Oh, what if I get killed because they're not giving me security, buddy?" I mean, I'm sorry, I like you, but come on. All right, we're broke. We're broke. We can't help you. We're broke. So that's the one thing, and then there were so many other points. I mean, obviously, he talks about societal things. He talk about men. When you talk about men, and he doesn't talk about men, but you show this. How am I going to put it? You show this what men were. The ability to produce things, the ability to innovate, the ability to invent. Not these kids that they all they do is that they go on TikTok, they play video games, they're gay, they don't know what fishing is, they don't know what farming is, they don't know how to use a power tool, they don't know how to use a hammer, they don't know how to use
all the useful things. Yeah.
no, all they do is play. All they do is play the video games. All they do is talk about Bitcoin. All they do is talk about the finance. All they do is talk about the women. All they do is talk about dumb stuff. That's not. They smoke cigars and they think that's what being a man is. Andrew Tate sits there and smokes a cigar with his shirt off and like, I'm a real man. What? That's not what real men do. I play. I'm gonna like. I like video games, but that's not what life is about. So that's one thing I saw. I saw a vision into the past, and I saw our future, and that was depressing, because I saw what's coming, and it's kids that just aren't prepared for hard times. They don't know how to do anything. They're dependent on technology that's been given to them by these elites who can control them. So when the time comes for them to be controlled by GPS operated cars that have kill switches that yeah, you're emitting too much. No more car for you. I don't like that opinion. No more Twitter for you. You can't leave your house because you haven't paid your fees. Those people are going to just accept it because on TikTok there's going to be someone like Taylor Swift saying, "Do it."
Yeah.
And Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and all these other idiots who are going to go out there and influence. And these people are so gullible and stupid. So, and Andrew Tate's probably going to say it because as much as he's going to say the Matrix, guess what? He likes money. He likes money because money is a big part of his escaping the Matrix. Money is his
money
drug.
man. He's a Bugatti man.
So money is his drug, and so we're in a bad shot. And part of his interview, I take it a different way. The ending of it, yeah, I was able to see in one shot, yeah, the decline. I saw the decline. I saw the decline of not just a nation, but of a culture, which defines a nation.
Yeah.
And in that, I saw the end. And it is depressing. That's why Tucker was asking, don't you see don't you just see, like, how do you keep doing it? And well, he talked about it more like, I just don't want to do it anymore because you see all these stories, you read all these reports, and you're saying so much.
Yeah, dude's physically tired. Dude doesn't even want to do it. He's been talking about leaving the country as well. Just doesn't want to deal with it.
Well, he's mentally worn out. Like, where would you go? And physically, you see him; he's strong as an ox. But mentally, you're fried. Like it's just so much. Yeah. So that was no, it's a good interview. I would recommend anybody watch it. I always said this: Alex is not to be taken as fact all the time.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
But I always say he's entertainment. But there are things that he says that there are no lies. There is nothing wrong about what he said. We know.
Right.
We know. So that's what I said. And I want to show a video of just kind of about the culture, about what it used to be. People, what real men are like. I sent you this video. I want to show it just to react in the end. Just to react to this man, this Englishman, standing his ground against these Arab Muslim protesters in London, pretty much saying, get out of here. You're not English. You're not a man. You're a coward. You're standing behind.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
here's this video. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I think you would love this. So here we go.
Gutless prick. Why don't you go back to where you came from, man? Leave these fellas alone, they got work to do. I'm talking to you.
Bullshit.
I'm talking to you.
Biggest shit in the world.
No, not bullshit, mate. Hard as nails.
Yeah.
Why don't you fuck off?
Oh, let's stop, man.
Go back to where you came from, Abdul.
You laugh because I have to come in.
London, mate. London.
Of course.
Fucking London. Anglo-Saxon English.
Fuck the London.
So fuck off back to where you came from.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
no business here with a mask. No, you don't. Fuck off. Don't touch me, Abdul. I'll break you in the street right now. Don't touch me.
Everyone is father.
Go back to where you came from, sunshine. You have no business in this country. And you have no business here. Go away. Go back to where you come from. You're worthless. You're a coward. You wear a mask.
No, I don't wear them.
You have no business here. Take your mask off, you wanker.
That's not very nice,
Take your mask off, you wanker.
Take your mask off. Take your fucking mask off. Take your mask. Take your fucking mask.
Racist, mate. Racist.
What do you fucking think? Oh, this is bullshit.
Now fuck off back to where you came from. Get the old bill on you. Because I'm just Jack. They'll sort you out. Go back to where you came from, son. You have no business here.
How you can know?
Go away.
If you don't fucking know me, mate.
By
the way, mate, I'm leaving now, so you better leave, mate. 15 years, and you cannot say me nothing.
I'm not your mate. I'm not
That's
your
why
mate.
fuck off. You have fuck Trump.
Get out of here, you fucking wanker.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy, all the police have left from behind you, mate.
Hey, look, 1,000 people who say you is the wanker. You are fucking wanker.
Who is the fucking wanker? Have a swing, man.
All people say you is the wanker.
Who is the wanker?
You just fucking
That's the worst London accent I've ever heard, mate.
Who you think you are? He's a racist. Whoa.
I'm English.
Yeah, you know, you are racist. Yeah, you just attack me and say who I fucking am. And I must fuck off to my country.
You'd be lying on the floor bleeding like
off,
a fucking
I lie.
pig.
You talk the shit. And what you got you. And what you think who you are now.
I'm happy to be
And the people, yeah, you are wanker. And fuck you are. Everyone got you. Fuck you.
Take your hands off me.
You want to fight me? Just put my
hands on you.
Because of war. You just fucked my fucking... Put my hands on you.
There you go. Go for it, mate.
I touch you on my... Where's wrong?
Take your hands off me. Take your hands off me. Take your hands off me.
What do you think?
All of you.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing.
Well, we are immigrants, that's it. You're fucking racist. Fuck you. In your fucking face. He's racist. Fucking racist man.
Exactly, he's fucking racist.
I was trying to be nice to him. Where is your hand?
Don't care, man.
English, what do you fucking think? I want it on you.
You
don't deserve to be in England. You don't deserve to be in England. Who you are?
Not even English.
No,
you want to fight me for England?
I don't want to fight anyone. You don't deserve to be in England.
Well, make me move.
I'm not a fighter.
Make me move.
You're the one that wants to fight everyone. Yeah, you try to beat people. Nobody tried to beat you. You're the one that wants to fight
weak.
We are weak. Why you punch him? Because he give you any question, you punch him. That's all. Because you are wanker. That's it. You have no idea.
Did you punch him? Did you punch him?
He punched me.
He punched.
These motherfuckers. Yeah.
He don't motherfuckers.
He thinks he's English.
Yeah,
the Aussie thinks he's English.
Fucking English
man. Then he's the fucking most.
He's not English. He's not English, mate. He's not English. Australian, I think.
I'm 10 years in.
Which country you born?
Everything at war. I'm not happy from government, everything. So, what we done? What we done to you?
You just live in this country.
You know what we done to you?
You're a foreigner.
You're a foreigner, mate. Joker.
I'm English.
What? Like, first off, I love that word, wanker. I think it's a funny ass word to say. It really is. You goddamn wanker. I mean, why come into the country and just why come into the country, the same country that you left, and you decided to go to a Western country, trying to find like a peaceful life, but then also bash on that country and call them racist. I just don't understand that point. I really don't. It's such a weird fetish. These silly
Yeah,
makers.
that's a good word for that. It's like a fetish now. Like they get excited of the fact that they.
I'm seeing this with my friends too. It's like you're living in America. You guys left that country because your family the parents left because they want you guys to have a good future in America, and on top of that, you're over here sleeping, wearing clothes, eating in American soil, and then bashing on it at the same time.
Your parents left that country for a reason, and now you're bashing the country that gave you what you have. You wouldn't have this where you're from. You wouldn't have this in Pakistan. You wouldn't have this in India. You wouldn't have this in.
And they've been in that country before. They've been there.
You wouldn't have anything.
You guys wanna keep supporting that same country and wave that flag in a different country and say, "Oh, I support them." Well, then go back.
Go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back. And also, like, this is the type of people we need. He is in his country. England is English. It is Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah,
That is where they are.
How's a bunch of foreigners gonna tell him
And
that
to tell him that, yo, you don't deserve to be. No, you don't deserve to be here. Who told you you have the right to be here? You have the privilege to be here. Immigrating to another country is a privilege. I have the privilege to go to your home. I don't have the right to go to your house.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I have the privilege of going to the Dominican Republic or to Mexico or to China or Japan. I don't have the right to.
I don't have the right. Yep.
My passport is a visa because I come from the best country in the world, and they assume that it's safe and I'm vetted and they understand who I am, and the United States vouches, our reputation vouches. That's why we don't need a visa to go to Canada. Our passport speaks to us for itself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I have the right to be there. And so that man does have a right, and he has the right to defend his homeland. And he's going there and saying, if you don't like it here, fuck off and leave. I like it here. This is my house. This is my country. This is my home. If you don't like it here, leave. This is the way it is. Now, if you're out here protesting because you're a resident and saying, you know what, I believe in lower taxation. I believe that we should have a better education system. I believe that's I respect that. But if you're out here saying, this country's horrible, tear it down, free our country's better, we need to raise our flag over yours.
It's built by
That's where the line is
racists.
drawn.
It's like, okay, then leave. What are you doing here then?
Go back. If you hate
It's
our
simple
country
as
so
that.
much, if you think our country is so wicked and so evil, why are you here?
And I know some people are so afraid to say that, telling people to go back. Well, it's the
has
honest
to be
truth. Like,
said.
just go back.
It has
It
to be
has
said.
to be. And don't be afraid to being called a racist either.
No, that man had no fear. He said,
He
no,
had
I'm
no
not a
fear.
racist.
I want to be just like him.
We need more people like him. That's why I said,
Yeah.
that's the mold of people that say, I'm not afraid of you because you're a coward. You are a coward. You hide behind a mask. You hide behind slogans and no conviction behind what your words, because you won't go back and fight for what you want. Go back and fight for Hamas. Why don't you do that? If you believe so much
Yeah.
in the cause, why don't you go and fight? Like the thousands of Jewish men and Israelis who around the world who flew to Israel to fight and are putting their lives on the line to hunt down
Yo,
the
that's
Hamas
so
cowards.
true.
Why
That
don't
is so
you go down
true.
and do that? They don't.
They
Because they want to
don't.
be safe. They want to protest and hate the world and hate the country that gave them the freedom to protest. Particularly the women, behind the safe confines of their nice, cozy Ivy League colleges. They want to do that outside of their nice, cute Starbucks. They want to do that in the cities where they have homes and family members they can hide to. They want to do it in the safety of their own homes and neighborhoods, but they won't go put their lives on the line like the Israelis are. And that's the biggest difference. One side is cowardly, one side is pathetic and has no values or fundamentals behind their cause, and the other one is putting their life on the line. And that speaks volumes and should to everyone in the world.
Amen. Amen to that.
So that was that's pretty much, we're kind of at the end of the episode. I just wanted to show that video because I came across it and I wasn't gonna watch it because I said I know where this is going, but it was far better than I thought. I was like, this isn't where I was going. This is a man.
Yeah,
I
didn't see the part where the guy was touching his shoulder and he was like, "Don't touch me." Yeah, I didn't see that part.
This was a man who was confident that he could throw down with anybody and he would come out on top. He knew what he was doing. He was unafraid. He was confident. He saw that guy in a mask and said, "You're a coward." He saw those guys saying the same words and said, "You have nothing to say to me. You have nothing to say to me. You have nothing over me. You are evil, and I am not." And he had no fear. He had no fear.
One thing I really want from him is his patience. Like I have no problem with anything else. I can confront a person easily and like not do anything or get pissed off. I really need his patience, honestly.
He went out there with a plan. He was going to go out there and confront a coward. He said, "I'm going to confront them and I'm going to tell them a piece of my mind." Because he said, "I have as much of a right to tell them what I feel about them as much as they have the right to call me a racist." And that he does.
All right. Kudos to him.
The problem is that in a country like the United Kingdom, the laws are so messed up nowadays. I mean, he's going to be sentenced to a jail probably for racism, for harassment, for the words he says if he's in London. And people are saying, "Oh, the accent's not real." That is an accent. Go to the countryside in England. That's an accent. That is how they speak. That's how English people speak. Not the stupid, slow London accent that everybody thinks. Everybody thinks London is the only place that matters in England. It's not. Northern England and Southern England matters, and that is an accent you will definitely hear in England. Definitely an accent you hear in London. But those guys don't know because those guys don't know anything about the country they're in. They don't know about Shakespeare. They don't know about the King George III. They don't know about the hedgerows. They don't know about they don't know anything about their history, their lore, the culture that developed them. They don't know anything about that. They don't know.
Yeah, it's the same thing in America. If you ask them who's the first president or the second president, they don't know. Or can you even pronounce it properly?
No, they don't. They don't know about the things that happened. They don't know about. They don't know our history, the way things developed. They don't know about Ulysses S. Grant. They don't know about about the Industrial Revolution. They don't know.
They don't
anything
even want to
about-
learn English.
They don't know. They don't know anything about our history. They don't learn. They know Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and Hillary and that's it. But they don't know our history. They don't know our culture. They don't understand why the West is why it is. They don't understand why we're a having culture. They don't understand that. So that's why you have people from the Dominican Republic come in and say, "I don't like that you have guns." Well, I don't give a shit that you don't like it. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, exactly. Don't change it.
It's put up. It's put up or it's put up or get up, bro. That's it. I don't give a shit. Put up or get up. Leave. If you don't like it and you have a problem, it's such a big problem, get the fuck out. There's donut stores in the Dominican Republic. Find a job there. So that's just it. That's just it. Yeah, we're nearing the end of this. We've been on long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
It was a good
Follow
episode.
us on Twitter. That's where we're most active. Like, subscribe to this video, share, and you know what? Don't be afraid to call these people out. They are cowards and they are evil, and you are not. You are.
And definitely don't be afraid to be racist.
Don't be afraid to be racist. Yeah,
tell these fools to go back to the
tell
country.
people the truth and say, you know what? Don't let these people come here into your communities and shit on them. Don't let them tell you that they have the right to take away your resources and welfare or your benefits and give them to some illegal person. They don't have the right. That you are a American citizen. That takes
Say it as it is.
a lot of these things. Say it as it is. And if people continue to tell the truth, that is how you get rid of people in power. You get them to conform, you get them to change, or you get them the hell out of here. When you tell the truth and say, you know what? I don't want a war in Ukraine. I don't want to support the war in Ukraine. I don't want war in Israel. I don't want the Israelis aren't genocidal. There's no genocide in Israel. When you say that and you tell them that Israel is not committing genocide, and they freak out and give you no facts and give you no specifics.
Yeah, that's one important thing. Always bring always bring some knowledge and facts into any type of conversation or debates.
You know you're on the side of truth. You know you're on the right side when you were refuting people that have no substance, when they have no basis of reality, when they have no values and they have no judgments and they have no fundamental principles. You're in the right. And I would say don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not give them the freedom or the luxury of believing that they have the only ones that have a right. And they have the privilege to protest and complain and no, you have equal right to them. Equal right. And not only that, not only you have equal right, but you're on the right side. Because you have the facts, you have the story, you have the principles, you have the values, and you have the truth on your side. So don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. And tell the truth. That's the only way you actually get rid of these evil, pathetic, egomaniac, insecure, paranoid, narcissistic filth, slime that's in power today. That's the only way. When you speak truth, unafraid and unworried, like that gentleman did. Cheers to him. And I hope to see you guys next time. Like, subscribe. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Stay racist, y'all.